Everyone, I'm going to begin the meeting with a short prayer and a salute to our flag. Almighty God, grant us the wisdom to make those decisions that are in the best interest of all our residents. May the Heavenly Father of us all bless those who have given the ultimate sacrifice in service to our nation, and may He watch over and protect our service men and women now guarding the gates of freedom. Salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Jessica, notice of publication.
Take notice that this regular agenda meeting of the Mayor and Borough Council being held on this 28th day of October, 2024 has been posted and advertised in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975.
Roll call.
Councilpersons Balca.
Here.
Polisi.
Here.
Noha.
Here.
Roberts.
Here.
Zanarski.
Here.
Zabrowski.
Here.
Okay, Council President, if you would.
Move the following minutes of the mayor and council be approved on roll call vote, subject to correction if necessary. The regular agenda and executive sessions of October 15th and the special meeting held on October 21st.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilpersons Roberts.
Yes.
Balca.
Yes.
Polisi.
Yes.
Anoha.
Yes.
Zanarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Okay, we'll go to old business.
Public hearing on ordinance number 44-24, an ordinance fixing the salaries of certain borough officials, officers, and employees for the years 2023 to 2027.
This time I'm going to open the public portion for any comments on this ordinance. Are there any comments? Being no comments, I'll entertain a motion. Councilman Balca.
Move the public hearing be closed and the consent, I move the public hearing be closed, the ordinance adopted on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilpersons Balca.
Yes.
Polisi.
Yes.
Noha.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Sonarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yeah.
Public hearing on ordinance number 45-24, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 26 of the revised general ordinances of the Borough of Sayreville to amend Section 26-89.8, sign Schedule 1 and 2, sign permit revocable.
Okay, this time I'm going to open the public portion for any comments on this ordinance. Are there any comments? Being no comments, I'll entertain a motion. Councilman Zabrowski.
I move the public hearing be closed, the ordinance adopted on second and final reading and advertised according to law.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilperson Zabrowski.
Yes.
Balca.
Yes.
Polisi.
Yes.
Noha.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Sonarski.
Yes. New business?
Introduction of ordinances, ordinance number 46-24, ordinance amending construction fee schedule for the Borough of Sayreville, County of Middlesex.
Councilman Balca.
Move the ordinance be approved on first reading, advertised according to law, and a public hearing be held on 11/12/24.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilpersons Balca.
Yes.
Polisi.
Yes.
Noha.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Sonarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
Ordinance number 47-24, Borough of Sayreville, County of Middlesex, ordinance regarding late fees for motel licenses.
Councilman Balca.
Move the ordinance be approved on first reading, advertised according to law, and a public hearing be held on 11/12/24.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilpersons Balca.
Yes.
Polisi.
Yes.
Noha.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Sonarski. Zabrowski.
Yes.
Ordinance number 48-24, Borough of Sayreville, County of Middlesex, ordinance accepting deed of easement dedication from Parlin Executive Center LLC over a portion of Block 30, Lot 1.01.
Councilman Zabrowski.
Move the ordinance be approved on first reading, advertised according to law, and a public hearing to be held on November 12th, 2024.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilperson Zabrowski.
Yes.
Balca.
Yes.
Polisi.
Yes.
Noha.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Sonarski.
Yes.
Ordinance number 49-24, Borough of Sayreville, County of Middlesex, ordinance repealing ordinances 2-54A titled Regulations on Contributions to the Preemption Provisions of the Elections Transparency Act, Public Law 2023, Chapter 30.
Councilman Balca.
I'm not going to move that right this time.
Okay, Who's second on admin?
Donna.
Donna, if you would, please.
I move this ordinance be approved on first reading, advertised according to law, in a public hearing to be held on 11/12/24.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
What was that? You. Councilpersons Roberts.
Yes.
Balca.
No.
Khaleesi.
Yes.
Enoha.
No.
Sinarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski. Okay. Resolution.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to open the public portion for any comments on the consent agenda. Are there any questions? Mary?
Resolution 247. I know you said questions, but I know you really don't mean questions. But I do, is this written correctly? Because it says here, the redevelopment agency to be provided by the agency. Shouldn't that be to the agency? The agency is going to provide something to us, or we're going to provide something to them? I think that should be to and not
Oh,
by.
Glenn, go ahead.
Mary, that's just so we provide some clerical support to the agency. It's just so we can bill each other back and forth because any kind of exchange of goods and services.
No, I know what it's for. I thought that it says services provided by the agency. It's not services being provided by the agency because we're providing the town is providing services to the agency. It's just I'm sure an English problem. It just seems that Sarah is not providing anything to us.
No, it's-
Understood, obviously, it's a clerical.
Yeah, it's nothing that has to be re-advertised. I am going to ask that,
Mary, this is really for comments. I extend the courtesy to you because you are a candidate
I
and based on the many years of service.
it was a word error with
Yeah.
that, but now I just have a comment on it right now.
Okay.
I really am asking that you don't really go along with this. We as a council, some of the people that are sitting up there actually voted to take somebody off of the agency because they moved
Is
out
this
of
in the
town.
resolutions, Mary?
Yes, the
Okay.
resolution that's going to appoint Zach. Or figure out a way to pay Zach.
And your
Okay.
comment is?
I'm just saying that he doesn't live in town, and we actually removed a volunteer because they moved out of town. We were going to have, this is such an important agency, and we are going to have somebody as a deputy executive director
Where
that
does-
lives
where
80
does
miles
this,
out of town.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Anything else?
That's it, thank you.
Mary, there are a lot of people that don't live in town that work for the borough. Some of them are police officers.
Not on, well, no, they all had to be when they were hired. Kennedy.
Yes.
And there isn't anybody on Sarah. We even removed the
Okay.
volunteers that didn't live in town.
Okay.
Okay?
Are there any other any other comments, rather? Being no other comments, I'll entertain a motion to close the public portion and to adopt the consent agenda.
I move the public hearing be closed and the consent agenda resolutions be approved on roll call vote.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Roberts.
Yes.
Balca.
Yeah, on resolution 2024-244, I'm going to abstain on the Adilex bill. And then 2024-247, I'll vote no on. Yes on the others.
Khaleesi.
Yes.
Enoha.
Yes for all but 247.
Sinarski.
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
A motion to accept the correspondence as listed.
I make the motion?
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilperson Roberts. Balca.
Yes.
Khaleesi.
Yes.
Enoha.
Yes.
Sinarski. Zabrowski.
Yes.
Will the gentleman from the senator's office please come up, please? And this is your time.
Thank you.
If you would introduce yourself and who you're here representing.
Thank you. My name is Michael Gray, and I'm representing U.S. Senator George Helmy, that cover the entire state of New Jersey. Happy to be a resident also of this great borough, the borough of Saraville. I want to be extremely brief. George Helmy took office in September, and he has used his office to improve the quality of life of residents. But there are some services that our office provide that constituents don't know about, and those are free federal services that can help the resident and even the borough of Saraville. So for example, if you have issues that deal with legislation or resolution, you can contact the Washington DC office. If you have issues that deals with constituent services, for example, like veteran issue, you might have the resident in your area that have veteran issues. It could be educational issue, it could be benefit issue. Those are issues that we can help you resolve through our congressional liaison. There is a military academy, very prestigious. It's equivalent to like an Ivy League institution where young people can go and learn about, could go to West Point, the Merchant Academy, and other prestigious institutions. So we can help students to enroll in those particular institutions. Currently, the senator is reviewing 300 applications to help students get into one of those institutions. You might be in your home and your passport is missing, and you can also always call our office. We can help with a same-day passport appointment. You might have issues, a resident might have issue with internal revenue. Maybe you might owe the internal revenue and you have some issue with them. And we can also serve as a liaison contacting that federal agency to help to resolve some of your issue. There are lots of senior citizens that have problem when it comes to like Social Security benefits, sometimes disability benefits. Our office is also there, to contact the liaison to resolve this issue about Medicare, et cetera. Sometimes the city or the borough would like to apply for a federal grant. And I'm encouraging you not to do it by yourself. You can always ask the senator office or a member of Congress to do a letter of support for your application, and that can help. And there might be some young folks in your area that want to visit the White House. We can help to plan a White House trip, or maybe you want to visit Capitol Hill, or maybe you have small business that have issue with access to capital. We can always contact the Small Business Administration, and also you might have businesses in your area that want to do international trade, and we can contact the Department of Commerce. So to reach our office, so I'd like to conclude by giving you the number. The Washington DC office is 202-224-4744, 202-224-4744. Then we have another office in Jersey City. The number is 973-645-3030, 973-645-3030. And the other office, the third office, is in Barrington, New Jersey, which is 856-757-5353, 856-757-5353. Or you can just go to Helmy, HELMY.senate.gov, and you can get all the information I just stated. So I just want to know that there are services that we provide that can help residents, and they don't really always have to do it all by themselves, and there are some assistance available. So that's what I'm here for. So if there's any question, I'll be glad to respond.
Okay, thank you. We will post your information on our website
Thank you.
and down at our Active Adult Center, and we will forward it to the have you been to the Board of Education yet?
Oh, no, not yet.
Okay, we'll have the clerk's office try to coordinate for you. Do you have a card on you? Okay.
But I'll give all
All
my
right,
information.
so Jessica, if you
Yeah.
this is our borough clerk,
Okay,
and again, let's get it up
thank you.
because it's all about service.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Mayor.
Okay,
Thank you,
thank
Council.
you. Okay. Mayor and council reports, Administration and Finance, Councilman Balka.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, we recently scored a 40.5 on the best practice inventories from the state. A score of 35 or greater is needed to avoid having state aid taken away, so we're going to get our full share of state aid this year. I would like to thank everyone involved in getting Hilltop and Hudson Court repaved. It's nice to see that we were able to do this for those residents because they came to the meeting and they brought it to our attention, the conditions of their roads. And I just want to be clear that everyone understands the ballot question is non-binding, so voting yes for it is not automatically going to increase taxes. We all heard the cost to fix the buildings were between $3 million and $5 million, and that the Historical Society only requested the building be designated a local historic landmark, and at no time wanted any funding for the building. Such a designation would make the funds available for work on the building, and another option, if needed, could be the Open Space Fund. I do believe that we should come up with a plan for the building, especially after the November election results. With that said, I want to make a motion to designate the old firehouse, Borough Hall, a local historic landmark.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, you do realize this is a referendum that's coming due in a week,
Yep, I realize that.
but you're looking to circumvent the voice of the people?
I think that,
You know better than the people?
I think the people know better than what you're saying right now.
Say that again, Councilman?
I think the people know better than what you're saying right now.
Then why would we deny them the opportunity to vote on it?
I don't think we're doing that.
What do you think we're doing here? If it's a referendum
I think
item,
I'm
on
seconding,
the
I think I'm
ballot.
seconding a motion right now.
I beg your pardon?
I think I'm seconding a motion right now.
I know you're seconding the motion. I'm asking you, why are you circumventing the people of Saraville?
I think the people know better than what you're saying right now.
I beg your pardon?
I think the people know better than what you're saying right now.
Do they know better, or do you think you know better?
I think I'm advocating for the people that know better.
Do you?
Yeah, that's why
Okay.
I'm here right now.
Well, it's always interesting. We got a week till election, and
Yeah.
you're circumventing their right to weigh in on this.
I think
But
the
that's
people
who
find
you are.
interesting
Okay.
and they know better than what you're saying
All
right
right, so
now.
we have a
that's who
motion
you are.
and,
Thank you.
that's made and seconded. Roll call.
Councilpersons Balca,
Yes.
Khaleesi,
No.
Enoha,
Yes.
Roberts,
No.
Sinarski,
No.
Zabrowski.
Okay. Anything else, Dan?
Progress, Mayor.
Okay, planning and zoning, Councilman Zabrowski.
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to say, I appreciate the opportunity to have attended two great events this past week. Both were holiday events. One was the at the Adult Active Center, the other at our trunk or treat. I don't want to steal your fire because I know you'll have more to say about that, but it really was wonderful on both ends. For our mature audience and also our younger audience is all getting together and having a lot of fun. I also want to clarify the shared service agreement. It is actually written correctly. Sarah is providing a shared service to the borough in that our Sarah attorney is actually assisting the borough in the creation of certain documents so that we don't duplicate those services. So that's the reason for that. I hope that clarifies that. Otherwise, the planning board, if you are interested in continuing to attend the planning board related to the MOSAP application, the next meeting is December 4th. Again, it will be at the Adult Center. And also just want to say I appreciate everyone's patience and cooperation with that. It's a long process and necessarily to make sure that I's are dotted and T's are crossed, but we appreciate everybody who has been actively involved and attending at each one of those meetings. Mayor, that's my report.
Thank you, Councilman. Public safety, Councilman Enoho.
Sorry. Thank you, esteemed mayor. You know, regarding public safety, I'm grateful for the residents who continuously reach out, those that I know, those who I do know and regard of high repute. So far, you know, when it comes to safety, the major highlight I've been receiving is towards the safety and the preservation of our old firehouse and town hall. You know, at this point, I'm looking forward to humbly requesting for the esteemed mayor and the rest of the council to consider a designation towards that to continue that preservation and for continued progress in that regard. Thank you.
Okay, Public Works, Councilman Khaleesi.
Thanks, Mayor. So I'm excited to announce the lights have been installed at the pickleball courts and the skate park. So the long-awaited project has been met with overwhelmingly positive feedback from our residents. The new lighting allows for extended playtime and improved safety during the evenings, enhancing the overall recreation experience, especially now that it's going to get darker earlier. We would like to extend our gratitude to the contractors who made it possible, including Ricky Petroselli, who's a local electrician here, and some of the contractors, the South River Electrical Company, which put the poles in, and Rich Poplowski and his crew at the Parks Department. So they all did a fine job, and their hard work is greatly appreciated. On another positive note, the various lights that were out along the walking paths of Kennedy Park Lake have been repaired and now fully lit. This improvement significantly enhances public safety and the overall experience for park visitors. We are very grateful for the outstanding efforts of JCP&L in completing these repairs. Their dedication to our community's safety and well-being is commendable. And lastly, be on the lookout for the newly installed water bottle refilling stations at various areas of the parks. And try the recently resurrected water fountain, especially that was put at the playground right here behind Borough Park. So our next initiative will focus on replacing and widening some of the walking paths within Kennedy Park. This project aims to make the paths more accessible and enjoyable for everyone, including families with strollers and individuals with mobility aids. While we do not have a specific timeline for this project today, we will keep the community informed as soon as we have more details. And lastly, one more thing under public safety. I just want to thank Sergeant Plumacher's group there, Sergeant Brian Braille and his crew, helping out our seniors along Kennedy Boulevard over there at the Gillette Towers. So recently, they've been giving out warnings and tickets to the truck drivers that blocked the views entering and exiting their driveway, which made a very dangerous situation. But since his crew has been on it, it's been safer. And we got the street lights fixed over there, so it's brighter. And I just want to say a thanks, and that's all we have today.
Thank you, Councilman. Recreation, Councilman Sinarski.
Excuse me, the Recreation Department had a busy month in October. They had to hit the bricks October 12th. They had 44 runners. The benefits from all of that goes to Saraville BIC. That's very important to me. The Bomber Bonfire was October 17th. The park had a tremendous amount of people. It was a big fire. The next day, the borough workers had it cleaned up perfectly. It was back to normal with nothing ever, no harm done to anything. We had our last car show last Wednesday. That's it for the year on that. Halloween trunk or treat. The first thing I want to do is thank Christine Sataka for donating all the candy. There was like 1,000 people came through there, and we were busy all night with all of the kids and candy, and I think everybody had a great time. Everybody was very helpful, and we had a nice time. The only next event we have is the Holiday Parade of Lights. It's December 8th, 6 p.m. on Main Street. Other than that, that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Water, Sewer, and Environmental Council President Roberts.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have anything on water and sewer. However, there's so much going on in town that I did want to recognize the car show yesterday that St. Stan's had. I walked in and sat down at the cash register and did not get a chance to stand up until they were giving out the awards and everyone left. So I didn't get to see any cars except the pictures that Randy sent to me. I also want to let you know that I did attend Legislators Back to School Day on October 18th. And I wanted to thank Mr. Howard for the invitation and to Mrs. Santos to let me present to 5 of her classes. During the classes, after introducing myself to each class, I reiterated that I represent them in Saraville and we would not be discussing the national election or anything outside of what's going on here in our borough. I then asked each class what topics were important to them, and there were common questions that were in each class. And those included traffic, because they do experience a lot of traffic coming out of the high school, warehouses, the firehouse, taxes. One question was pointedly, why did our taxes go up so much last year? And in front of the school teachers and the one of the other members of the school, I explained that it was the school tax increase, and they didn't disagree, so we did discuss that. They were interested in overbuilding. They wanted to know what was going on by the river, and they knew what was going on. They didn't know it was called Riverton, so I thought that was a little interesting. We could do more public relations on that for them. We also talked about for every decision that we make as a borough, there's a benefit and consequence, and we did do a benefit consequence analysis on the topics they were interested in that class, because there's no topic that we ever discuss that has only a benefit or only a consequence. There's always both, and we have to balance that. And then finally, in each classroom, they did ask how much I made, and rather than telling them, I asked them how much do they think a council person made. The lowest, the lowest guess was $45,000 a year. The highest guess was about $125,000 a year. Would anyone here at the dais like to share what our annual salary for our service here as a council person is?
$100 a week. Dry cleaning.
I think the annual salary is $5,500. I unfortunately think that turned a bunch of them away from wanting to participate in local government. But my primary message in each class was that it's important for them to participate because the decisions we make today will impact them more in the future than they do us. And they need to be on the court, which is a term that I've heard in the past. If you want to make a difference, you have to be on the court. Afterwards, I spoke with Mr. Howard briefly about how the day went and mentioned that to him. And he shared with me the speech by Theodore Roosevelt, the man in the arena. And I'd just like to share what those few sentences are on that speech. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory or defeat. So that was the theme of the day for that event. And I will let everyone know tomorrow I will also participate in the Climate Change Education Advisory Board meeting. And I'm looking forward to that event and sharing what comes of it. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, general discussion items.
Authorization for the tax collector to refund 2023 and 2024 taxes and cancel all subsequently billed taxes due to 100% disabled veteran tax exemption covering Block 379.02, Lot 3 in the amount of $9,156.27.
Any objection? Next item.
Authorization to purchase one 2024 Ford Ranger from All American Ford of Paramus through NJ Cooperative Purchasing Alliance in an amount not to exceed $37,069.
Any objection? Next item.
Authorization to bill the owner of 37 Carter Street a total of $625 plus administrative costs for the removal of a substantial amount of overgrowth from the property.
Any objection? Next item.
Coin toss request for the corner of Washington and Ernston Road received from the Sayreville Blue Bomber softball on November 23rd and 24th.
Any objection? Next item.
Authorization to purchase fire department turnout gear from Skylands Area Fire Equipment and Training through NJ State Contract in an amount not to exceed $60,037.32.
Any objection? Next item.
Authorization to execute the renewal of an interlocal services contract with the County of Middlesex for the provision of public health services in the amount of $199,323.09.
Any objection? Next item.
Authorization to award a contract to East Coast Emergency Lighting for installation of light sirens and related equipment on OEM vehicles in an amount not to exceed $19,604.85.
Is there any objection? Next item.
Authorization for Melrose Hose Company to donate a 2014 Sure Track cargo trailer to Carteret Police Department.
Any objection? Next item.
Application for membership to the Morgan Hose and Chemical Company, #1 of Travis Toth at their July 1, 2024 meeting.
Any objection? Next item.
Authorization to purchase automated refuse cans from IPL North America through Sourcewell contract in an amount not to exceed $123,885.68.
Any objection? Next item.
Authorization to purchase one 2024 SUV from All American Ford of Paramus through NJ Cooperative Purchasing in an amount not to exceed $70,000.
Any objection? Next item.
Authorization to renew the following five-year agreements with Middlesex County, the CFC Recovery Program, and for the county to place a container at Fort Grumpy for the purpose of tire recycling.
Any objection? Next item.
Authorization to purchase one 2025 Ford Explorer and one 2024 Ford Ranger from All American Fleet through New Jersey Cooperative Purchasing Alliance in an amount not to exceed $99,237.05.
Is there any objection? Next item.
Authorization to purchase playground equipment for Miller's Corner Playground from MRC Recreation through ESCNJ contract in an amount not to exceed $42,551.78.
Is there any objection? Next item.
Authorization to award a non-fair and open contract to R&J Garage Doors for the installation of new garage doors at Melrose Firehouse in an amount not to exceed $35,785.
Is there any objection? Next item.
Authorization to award a non-fair and open contract to Quincy Compressor for compressor inspection and maintenance in an amount not to exceed $20,126.83.
Any objection? Next item.
Authorization to purchase one 2025 Ford F-250 from Winter Ford through NJ State Contract in an amount not to exceed $60,896.
Is there any objection? Next item.
Authorization to award a non-fair and open contract to Jetback Equipment for parts and equipment in an amount not to exceed $32,222.96.
Is there any objection? Next item.
Glenn's up.
Authorization to promote Trish Fitzgibbons to Senior Recreation Aide in the Recreation Department retroactive to September 16th, 2024.
Is there any objection? Next item.
Authorization to move Samantha Amato from Public Safety Telecommunicator full-time to Public Safety Telecommunicator per diem effective January 1st, 2025.
Is there any objection? Next item.
Authorization to promote Karina Bronco from Public Safety Telecommunicator per diem to Public Safety Telecommunicator full-time effective January 1st, 2025.
Is there any objection? Next item.
Authorization to promote Jennifer Betzler from Keyboarding Clerk 1 to Keyboarding Clerk 2 in the Office on Aging effective November 1st, 2024.
Any objection? Next item.
Authorization to appoint Donald Connors and Logan Tischler to the Department of Public Works effective November 1st, 2024.
Is there any objection? CFO's report, Denise?
Councilman Baucus stated, the best practice inventory, we had a score of 40.5, so no aid will be withheld. Authorization to amend the 2024 local municipal budget for the following: fiscal year 24 law enforcement mental health and wellness program in the amount of $162,050, and fiscal year 24 local recreation improvement grant for $65,000. And I will also have a budget transfer resolution on for the next meeting. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Denise. By the way, November, I believe, is your, what? Oh, it's a secret?
No, it's not a.
I think it's the worst kept secret in the borough.
Why? It's December.
Anyway,
1st.
because you're well received, you're well respected. You've been a credit to your profession. And just on a very personal note, I want to thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm quite glad.
You don't get a cake tonight. Okay. Borough Engineers Report, Jay Cornell.
Thank you, Mayor. First five items have to do with Bedrock Concrete on Hartle Street. Approximately 15 years ago, they posted bonds when they got the COs for their buildings. All their outstanding work's been completed, so we're looking for resolution of releasing the bonds for those 5 buildings.
1 through 5, Jay?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Item 6 and 7 are change order requests for Front Street and Albert Street project and 2021 Road Phase 2. Does not increase the contract amount, it just allows us to pay contractor for extra work that he did at the request of the borough. Item number 8, looking for resolution as per Dave Leitner. This item was in the capital budget for water. It's the replacement of a water line on Bordentown Avenue under Tennant Brook. And then finally, Mayor, the last 2 items, Cheesequake Road improvements and Melrose and President Park Firehouse roof replacement. We're receiving bids tomorrow. So if everything's in order, look for resolutions at the next meeting awarding those contracts. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Borough Attorney's Report?
Nothing for me, Mayor.
Okay, at this time, I'm going to open the public portion for comments on all issues. Frank?
Frank Terzino, 32 Canal Street, Silver resident for 66 years. I brought with me an item for show and tell. It's Old Glory. She's beat up, but it stood the test of time. This particular flag was the first flag to be flown over the first Sayreville Town Hall. The clamps are still on the top of the building. If you dare, listen to your hearts. In the spirit of momentum right now, you can hear and visualize the celebration on the birth of the first town hall on the streets below. As Old Glory flew high at the peaks of the historic building next
Fellas,
door.
Fellas, if you could go to one side so you don't block the camera,
That's good,
please.
right there. You want to stay on the screen
Turn the
so the
clock
residents. Don't go over there. I want the residents to see our flag.
Frank, that's fine, but I can't have the camera blocked.
All right. As Old Glory flew high by the peaks of the historic icon, the cheers of the community leaders and residents that built her must have felt a feeling of accomplishment and rejoice in knowing they would finally have a town hall. From 1909, this beautiful structure served our Sayreville till 2018. For 25 years, it's been neglected, no paint, no maintenance, no nothing. It has stated many times at this podium, the occupants of that building were the fire, police, ROTC, Coast Guard, and others. She served during the best of times and the worst of times. World War I, the pandemic of 1918, the Depression years, where many meetings were held upstairs right next door, discussing how to save lives due to hunger, sickness, and massive stress felt by everyone. The leaders had to prevent Sayreville from becoming a ghost town, and they did that by working together as a community. She also served during World War II, the first year. My comments may fall on deaf ears tonight, but perhaps not. Look inside. That gorgeous building must be saved. If not, you might want to consider changing Sayreville from Sayreville to Pottersville. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments tonight? Mary? Yep.
Thank you, Phyllis, for doing that. We just found that last year, tucked away really neat. Survived 115 years. And maybe one day we'll fly it again. Thank you.
Mary?
Mary Novak, 1 Scarlet Drive. This ordinance that you passed on first reading today about doing away with the old pay for play. Basically, when you have a pact, a dark money pact, funding your campaigns, we're never going to know who contributed to that. So they could be given a job in town, they could be given a pilot in town, they could get a favorable ruling from a zoning board or a planning board, and we're never going to know because they don't have to report that they gave any money to a pact. But we do know who the chairman of the pact was, who you immediately, you hired, breaking a borough ordinance. How do you tell the people in this town that they have to follow borough ordinances if you don't? We have a residency requirement. The job was never posted. No one was ever interviewed, but we created a position and we gave it to the chairman of this pact. No matter what you do, if you're going to use dark money, you might as well wipe your butt with this ordinance because it means nothing. The people are still not going to know if anybody is getting favorable treatment. And then the same person, the chairman of this dark money pact, was given a position on Sarah. I'm sorry, gentlemen and ladies, this doesn't pass the sting test. And also, I would really like to take a few moments to thank the Historical Society for everything they did. And regardless of what is said, I believe it's going to pass, but even if it doesn't, it's a non-binding referendum. I don't believe a lot of the people I had people tell me they didn't even realize there was a question there. They didn't understand it. And I tried to explain to them that the $3 million, it does not have to come out of the coffers here. There are grants. We have had offers from Preservation New Jersey and Congressman Pallone and Senator Vitale to help us get these grants. There's somebody that's willing to try to get the grant for the roof right away, even prior to the and also there are grants for the asbestos and the lead. You don't even need the historic preservation designation to start getting those grants right now, because we're going to have to clean that up before we demolish that building. You can't just demolish the building with asbestos flying around the air. That would have to be cleaned up anyway. So I really hope that, I believe it's going to pass, and I really hope that even though it's a non-binding referendum, that you hold it in your hearts to, give the historic designation to that grand old lady next door. Thank you.
Lynn, would you explain that a little bit? Yeah. You want to explain that ordinance, please?
The ordinance on tonight that was introduced tonight that would repeal the past pay-to-play ordinance that the borough had in place is simply because last year the legislature passed the Elections Transparency Act, which installed a statewide pay-to-play law and invalidated all local pay-to-play ordinances. So as it stands now, the borough's ordinance is not in effect because the state's ordinance, the state statute supersedes it. So if somebody made a challenge on the borough's ordinance today, it would be denied because the state statute would govern. So that's all this is just to clear up the pay-to-play ordinance, because to avoid confusion, again, the borough still has to follow the state law, which is in place now, and again, invalidated all local pay-to-play ordinances.
Can I go back?
Mary-
I obviously don't think you understood
Mary-
it. Like I said, it doesn't
Mary-
matter
Mary,
what you have there if you're using the dark money.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Ken?
Thank you, Mayor. Ken Olszewski. I want to congratulate these gentlemen over here, Councilman Balka and Onoa, on the resolution they tried to do for the firehouse. Let's talk about this firehouse referendum. It needs to pass. I hope it passes overwhelmingly, but it's really a phony referendum. It was designed by the mayor to circumvent these people here that have worked so hard in the Historic Society. They don't want the $3 million. They don't want it. It's said over and over. The mayor put that in there hoping this thing will not pass. So let's get that out of the way right now. It's a phony referendum, but we need to show that it's going to pass overwhelmingly. And you know why? To keep it from being knocked down, and their friends up here, the mayor and his puppets, their friends, the developers, from knocking it down and knocking down the public works and putting it like everybody said it's going to happen. And that's more housing in the borough. That's what we need to avoid. We need to save the firehouse, and we need to keep from having more housing in the borough. So that's the firehouse referendum. And Mayor, the way you talk to Councilman Onoa, that gives me, really makes me laugh. Some of the things you did, Mary just pointed out some of the nonsense you've done. Let's talk about this hiring you made at the beginning of the year, Mayor. You said you hired a clerk typist. And I guess there was nobody good enough in Sayreville because you know how you consider the people in Sayreville a-holes and people that just have nothing to do. So you had to go to Gloucester County. Now, don't look at the map. If you need to know, basically, we'll call it Philadelphia. You had to go to Philadelphia to hire a clerk typist. But then you readily admitted this wasn't a clerk typist. The mayor wasn't telling the truth. It's an aide. I don't know how many aides he's got now, at least 3. Maybe he hired a few more. Maybe he's got 4 or 5. How many aides do we need? All of a sudden, we never have enough money. But when it comes to blowing money, we have a business administrator. We have department heads. The council meetings go for a half an hour. How many questions and how many aides do you need? They're not aides for business. their political aides coming out of the borough treasury. A little more phony nonsense that the mayor is making up. And as far as their talk about cleaning up corruption, beware of anyone that talks about cleaning up corruption, because they're usually creating corruption. And when you talk about giving away $100 million in a pilot, just giving it away to a multi-billion-dollar corporation out of the borough treasury, you know what? That's grounds for corruption right there. That's where corruption comes from.
Sir, I'm
That kind
sorry.
of nonsense. Thank you very much.
Ken, Arthur, rather.
Arthur Rittenhouse, 33 Delacat Lane, Sayreville, New Jersey, trustee, Sayreville Historical Society. I too would like to thank Councilman Balka and Anoha for bringing up the historic site. It's nothing new, Mayor. We've asked it every time we come up here and speak to do that. Has nothing to do with the referendum. What it does have to do is save taxpayers money. You spent $28,000 on a study that could have been funded by just having as a local historic site. Takes nothing away from the mayor and the council. You can still do whatever you want. I've been out talking to residents. Some of them have asked me, some lifelong residents, how come council members Zabrowski, Sinarski, and Roberts, lifelong residents, are against saving the history of Sayreville? That's the attitude that's out there. You know, we work very hard, and you could still pass it as a local historic site, takes nothing away from you, but brings in money that saves the taxpayers money. We just recently received support from the Historical Society of South Amboy. And they sent it to all of you too, but you don't get mail that you don't like, so, and you don't answer emails that you don't like. I found that out also. We support your incredible effort to give this local historic landmark new life without additional cost to residents via grants and other available funding opportunities. Your hard work and unwavering commitment to saving this building has a minimum earned you the right to prove that you can accomplish your goal. Many members live in Sayreville, and we ask them to support the referendum. Mary Zorro, President, Historical Society of South Amboy. We also work closely with Woodbridge, with Madison, the Madison Township one, which is now Old Bridge. So there's a lot of things that are going on. The history of this town is very important. And unfortunately, you know, I would like to see if the referendum passed, how many people on this panel would vote to support it? Or are you just going to turn it down? And thank you, Councilman Zabrowski, for voting to support the preservation, because you voted on the master plan, which calls for preserving the 1909 Town Hall Firehouse. So I don't know if you knew that. It was in there. You just passed things without reading it, like Nancy Pelosi. Thank you.
Are there any other comments? Bob? Bob Duffy, 111 Merritt Avenue. This automated garbage, is that the green cans? Yes. Okay. Is there a reason why we have to order some that there's tons of them at Fort Grumpy? You know, I would say there's like 300 or 400.
They break.
Oh, I understand
And
that.
we
but-
have good crews that go out and do repairs at the households, but sometimes like,
Yeah.
I've got one now, the side's split up, you know?
Yeah, I understand that, but is there an average what you use a week, replace?
I wouldn't know the number, but we don't order incredible amounts of
Okay,
them.
okay, well, that's a lot of money, 123,000. The other thing I want to make a comment on, I don't think this borough and council has the right to okay coin toss on Ernston Road. That's a county road. They need county approval to do coin toss. Usually it's a
So I just hope-
two-part thing, Bob.
I just hope that nothing happens and then Sarah will be liable.
No, usually they have to do the borough and the county.
get approval from the county.
Okay, before they come here or they come here first?
Junction.
Okay, all right, just an observation.
Okay.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Robert. Are there any other comments? Being no other comments, I'll entertain a motion to close the public portion.
Make a motion to close the public portion?
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.